Sometimes hindsight can lead us to make sweeping assumptions. Of course, the experiences we go through or the universal truths of being hurt or having wrong done to us is understandable. Sometimes there are other narratives that aren't in our reality to share. But we, the collective we, society as a whole, know this because of a little thing called hindsight. It took those living with these infringements to distill their experiences in a way that everyone could understand and spread them to the masses. Media, specifically films, are effective vehicles for these kinds of messages. So today, I'd like to take a look at the Hughes Brothers movie, Menace II Society, and try to understand its use of something I like to call hood allegory, and how said hood allegory applies to the world around us. This is a critique. After growing up in the gang lifestyle of the Los Angeles projects, 18-year-old Kane Lawson, played by Tyron Turner, wants a way out. Everyone around him, including his unpredictable friend O-Dog, played by Lorenz Tate, is trapped in their lives of crime and violence. With the help of his caring teacher Charles Dutton and supportive girlfriend Jada Pinkett, Kane plans to leave the city for good. But in a series of tragic events, Kane realizes that escape will not be easy. Now, this film has what I like to refer to as a hood allegory, as a major theme and some of the plot points that move the story along. But what is a hood allegory? To answer that, let's first look at the definition of allegory. An allegory is a quote, a story, poem, or picture that can be interpreted to reveal a hidden meaning that is typically moral or political. So that stands to reason that a hood allegory is a story, poem, or picture that can be interpreted to reveal a hidden meaning, either moral, political, or both, but done so from a uniquely community-centric perspective. To my mind, Menace II Society absolutely does this. It uses setting as a character and weaves a narrative that unapologetically serves up what society has deemed a hood in raw, gritty detail. One of my favorite scenes in Menace II Society is at the very beginning, which catapults the story and launches our characters straight into chaos. Right away, the film sets up minority communities living within the same socioeconomic construct, the hood. When Kane and O-Dog enter, there is an impending doom in the air. The immediate distrust of these young African American men is thrust upon us, the audience, and we feel as uneasy as the Asian American owners of the store. But why is that? Why then, in a movie steeped in racial identity, would the director include a scene that paints our protagonists as racist hoodlums? I think this is such a great inclusion that serves to give viewers a broad scope of the world in which our protagonists inhabit before following them back into the bubble that birthed them, the hood. I also think that this scene does something really interesting when it comes to addressing harmful stereotypes by literally having them result in bodily harm. There are only two other times when Menace II Society steps out of the black community-centric purview to shine a pointed light on other communities. These scenes attempt to highlight constructed social divides that permeate communities of color. First, there's a scene where Kane and his friend Sharif get beat to hell by white cops and dumped in a Latino neighborhood, the wrong hood. Albert Hughes mentioned in the commentary of this film that he didn't want the characters to continue suffering, specifically at the hands of another minority group in the city. We somehow understand as an audience that there's this feeling of segregation in Los Angeles, which is interesting because as an Angelino myself, I understand this. But somehow as a viewer, without having that reference written out, you still feel that sense of dread, of not belonging. But in all actuality, Kane is taken to the hospital by his Latino counterparts, a very good twist in the telling of this story. And then there's the one where a white criminal comes to the black hood to commit crime. It is interesting, however, that in both of these scenes, the white men are in positions of power, taking advantage of people of color, albeit with a little more pushback in the criminal situation. So where does this leave us? To fully understand the message embedded within Menace II Society, we need to answer a few questions. Is its use of hood allegory still impactful today? Or does it cause harm to the very people it aims to re-enfranchise by romanticizing the thug lifestyle? Is it important? Menace II Society is set in Los Angeles and was released in 1993. The Rodney King riots, these were riots that took place after 4 LAPD officers were acquitted of the charges of excessive force and beating of Rodney King. This happened in Los Angeles in 1992. The movie was written and in production before this event happened. So yeah, I'd say it's still impactful today. And at the same time, the meteoric rise of West Coast gangster rap was in full swing, with rap groups like NWA creating remarkable visuals for their videos and with deep social political lyrics and hits like Fuck the Police. Los Angeles was on the map, and what many outsiders saw was a hood allegory presented by the media. It is within the context of these facts that the violence portrayed in Menace II Society lives. It does not glorify or romanticize violence. We can see Kane succumb to it. We see Sharif succumb to it. The thug lifestyle kills, but it doesn't only kill those who wallow in it, but can and does also claim the lives of those who operate in close proximity to it, indiscriminately. It is in this way, in this message, that Menace II Society goes from a raw, gritty story of gangbangers in LA to a cautionary tale that continues to impart its wisdom almost 30 years later.
Thank you so much for watching. If you got this far, please click the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.